we travel to Mexico. To see how transport in one of the largest cities in the world is going green.
In 1990, Mexico City was considered to be the most polluted city in the world.
In the noise and bustle of Mexico's capital, it is hard to imagine why the Spanish conquistadores called this city the Venice of the Americas. Yet on the outskirts of Mexico City, there is a clue. Xochimilco is a popular tourist attraction. Day trippers hire these fluorescent-coloured boats called trajineras to float through the peaceful canals. I visited with the historian Patrick Johansson.
Xochimilco, que quiere decir en náhuatl lugar de sembradíos de flores. Y aquí tenemos la versión natural, digamos, de lo que sería la cultura mexicana, la cultura indígena.
After moving to Mexico from France 5 decades ago, Johansson has now written over 20 books on Mexico's pre-colonial history.
Y tener la sensación de estar en este México prehispánico donde no había toda esta contaminación, todo ese ruido, todo eso, digamos, vivir con la naturaleza, que era realmente digamos, la filosofía de los antiguos mexicanos, era, digamos, vivir con la naturaleza, no de la naturaleza.
The waterways of Mexico City were still in use a century ago. Up until 1920, it was still possible to travel to the city centre via these canals. A series of public works irrevocably changed the urban landscape.
Queda entonces aquí como una reliquia, ¿no? Xochimilco. Realmente vemos que es para el turismo. Bueno, todavía sí venden flores y todo eso, pero toda la movilidad es por transporte automóvil.
The city transformed into a vast urban sprawl.
Big city, 21 million people living in this metropolitan area. Secondly, the Valley of Mexico is in a plateau, in a high plateau, about 2 kilometers high. And so there is less oxygen for combustion. The combustion is more inefficient in Mexico City than in other places. Increasing public transportation is slow and is very expensive. So we have had a lot of growth of cars.
At the Ministry of Environment, Alejandro Villegas says the city is expanding its electric-powered public transport network to tackle pollution.
The last figure we have is that if we consider all the public transportation in the metropolitan area, 68% of those trips are made in electric vehicles.
The green transition is also taking place in the private sector.
Buenos días, buenos días, buenos días. Buenos días, buenos días, son los compañeros de este lado. Buenos días.
I've come to meet Ernesto, one of the drivers for Grupo Modelo, the largest distributor of beer in this city. This year, they started using these Chinese-made electric trucks.
Todo ese tipo de camiones es algo súper. Es lo que le comentaba, o sea, ser amigables con el medio ambiente y con los vecinos. En ruido contamina, todo contamina, hasta nosotros contaminamos. Más que todo, como estamos céntricos, con los vecinos. Yo soy oriundo, soy chilango. Somos chilangos.
A local through and through, Ernesto is upbeat about the difficulties of his job and life in such a large city.
Cada día es un nuevo reto, ¿no? Tener una buena cara y empatía hacia los demás, ¿no?
These trucks have a range of 300 kilometers. They can go 3 days without needing to be charged.
Y estamos mudándonos a la nueva era, ¿no? Lo que ya está, dejar los fósiles, los combustibles fósiles, ¿no? Hoy en día nos damos cuenta de que ya está muy contaminado el aire y al poner un tipo de camión de estas circunstancias ayuda mucho a unas emisiones. Hemos llegado.
While Ernesto delivers his cargo back at Grupo Modelo, I met with Daniela Perez.
Fue un poco ahí el cambio del mindset en cuanto al operar un camión a combustión a un camión eléctrico, pero creo que ha sido bueno la adaptación de ellos en cuanto justamente al tener este camión eléctrico con las ventajas que conlleva.
This company's decision to transition to using electric vehicles is significant, and Grupo Modelo aims to have 15% of its fleet electric by 2025. Providing electric-powered vehicles is just one example of how economic ties between Latin America and China are expanding.
A nivel país se está avanzando en cuanto a la introducción de la electromovilidad, entonces creo que son varios las personas, tanto a nivel autoridades como a nivel empresarial, privado, que están comprometidos con esta introducción y creo que ha sido bastante aceptada por la población.
Latin America is complementary to China. We have very strong commercial ties with China, and slowly but surely every country has been seeing the rise of China as their main trading partner. Of course, Mexico is the exception. We continue to be the exception because we're so close to the US. But nevertheless, even in Mexico, you see more and more the influence of China.
Member of the Mexico-China Chamber of Commerce, Diego Spanaus, explains Chinese companies are bringing plants to Mexico to take advantage of the North American Free Trade Agreement, and this includes electric car production.
Yeah, let's go.
To find out more, I was invited to test drive the latest electric passenger cars entering the consumer market. These cars are made by BYD, the same Chinese company that supplied the trucks to Grupo Modelo.
The battery, it's distributed on the floor.
Pamela Torres discusses the new range of electric cars that boast ranges of up to 600 kilometers.
For us, we launched the brand of passengers vehicles in March of this year, and we are very surprised about the response of the Mexican market, because they've been loving the technology, the innovation, all of the gadgets that the car has.
Torres says the electric vehicle market is highly competitive, and developing the necessary infrastructure for wider uptake of cars remains a challenge.
This is a challenge, but we know that as soon as the Mexican market wants to adopt new vehicles of new energy, it's going to be easier to work all together, government, companies, and the private consumers to grow this market. Yeah.
BYD offers its clients a charger to install at home to promote their vehicles. The country's infrastructure is expanding and the market is changing. Across the city, I went to talk to journalist and social media influencer Fernanda Lara. She is of the younger generation of car-loving Mexicans.
Ya están llegando empresas privadas de cargadores para llegar a hacer su negocio, lo cual me parece perfecto porque antes era una colaboración nada más entre el gobierno y las marcas que tenían autos eléctricos. Hay gente muy purista, me he considerado uno de ellos, ¿no? Gente muy purista que le gusta mucho el sonido de un motor, las sensaciones que te puede llegar a dar. Entonces también mucha gente es como, ay, qué aburrido, ahora todo va a ser eléctrico, ni siquiera van a hacer ruido.
Latin America still lags behind many other regions in the green energy transition, but the arrival of many Chinese companies is propelling that transition.
Lo principal yo creo que sería el tiempo y que todos estemos dispuestos y aceptar la realidad de que pues, ya va a ser eléctrico.
Across this vast region, from the green energy transition to conservation projects and trade, Latin America and China are increasingly working together for sustainable development.